What is up, folks? What is going on? And welcome back into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike, and oh boy, do I have a packed house in front of me here today, guys. For the first time in a while, I'm joined by multiple guests in the studio here, and as I was last week, the last 2 weeks, I should say, since we're releasing these episodes in multiple parts, I am joined yet again by my regular co-host, Andrew. What's up, you pulp daddy motherfucker?
Not much, buddy. How we doing?
Good, man.
Nice.
Good. Ready to do another draft. Ready to kick
Love
all
it.
your asses and have a good time here. And lucky enough to be joined again by our good buddy, Matt Audette. What's up, man?
What's up?
How we doing, pal?
We're doing.
How was your St. Patrick's Day?
Pretty chill.
Nice.
Yeah, which I don't mind. That was very cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's nice to be away from all the madness downtown.
I got a good little dose of it in the weekend with playing gigs, so
nice.
It all evened out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're listening to the show, you had a chance to check Matt out live at the New World Tavern over the weekend. And if not, you certainly should in the future. I would highly recommend it. New World or Speedwell, right?
Yep. Yeah, and Mayflower. I'm starting to kind of get a little more busy now that it's getting nice out again.
Yeah. There you go. And for the first time in several weeks, we are lucky enough, I would say blessed enough, to be joined in the studio by, formerly what we would call a regular co-host. What would we call her now? Just
some slow,
some stiff joining the show.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, hashtag blessed. What's up, Kat?
Hello.
How are you? What have you
I'm
been
well.
up to the last, 6 months since you've been on the show?
Well, I didn't see Batman, so I didn't do that podcast. And then I've just been kind of busy with work and, whatever. So I'm just, I didn't go on last week, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm back,
here.
baby.
Back in the
You
saddle,
are in
baby.
fact here. You are in fact here. So, yeah, we're here. We're going to do another another couple of drafts tonight, and release them out to you guys to listen to. Hope you guys enjoyed the last couple of weeks, the 70s draft and the 80s draft that Matt, Andrew, and I all did together. Hopefully you liked or hated our picks and got some kind of a visceral reaction out of them and enjoyed listening. But we're here tonight, and we are going to transport you back to a decade known as the 1990s, when, I would say the majority of us were either, at the beginning of the decade in elementary school, and then maybe entering middle school and high school towards the end of it. I know that was kind of it for me. But, pretend you're hopping in a time machine right now, going back to the 1990s. We're going to talk about some 90s horror. So I guess before we jump into this, a couple things for each of you guys. Going back and doing research for this episode on 90s horror, what did you guys think overall, looking at the decade? Did you feel it was a strong decade? Did you feel it was not so strong? I know there are a lot of thoughts out there online, but obviously what people think online isn't necessarily always the truth. Matt, I will start with you since you're our guest.
So I was actually really surprised at how much stuff I was finding, and just not so much that I didn't know it was a 90s movie, but I just you forget about it. You don't see it for a while. There's a lot of these movies that I think are kind of hard to find in terms of, they're not on streaming. You can't really get DVDs anywhere. And if you want to order them online, if they're hard to find, they're usually kind of expensive. So I have an example of a couple of them that I think I'm going to get to.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I was surprised. I was looking at all of them. I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to have a huge list to pick from. So I'm kind of pumped about it.
Nice.
90s movies are they have their own, the 90s itself has its own vibe too, and especially the 90s horror movies. So
For better or for worse.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kat, what about you?
I
know you seem to love 90s horror, I think
Oh, yeah.
probably the most out of any of us here, so I'd be interested to hear what you had to say.
For me, it's a nostalgic thing where, when I was a kid growing up, and if I was, in Marshfield down the beach and it was a rainy day, the first thing you do is go to the video store and get, 5 movies to binge because there was nothing else to do. It was, before internet or whatever, so... looking at all the list of movies in the 90s, I was like, oh, I watched that, and I remember that movie, and I was, there with, my friends watching this movie there, or whatever, so it's, very nostalgic, and I liked it.
Good.
2 thumbs way
There
up.
you go. You liked it. 2 thumbs way up. There's the answers we were looking for.
It was
The
nice. It
regular
was nice
Kat
flashing
answers.
back to the 90s.
Awesome. Andrew.
I feel like the 90s in general gets a bad rap, but the more you look back on it, I feel like a lot of 90s horror movies, a lot of them may have had bad reception when they came out, but a lot of them have a cult following now. And you watch them again through different eyes, and you're like, these movies are awesome. Like, there's some really good 90s movies. And also, where Kat was saying, too, like, when Netflix first came out in, like, the early 2000s, a lot of the ones you would, go for was, like, those 90s style movies, and you'd watch a lot more of them. Like Matt was saying, too, like, you can't find many of them unless you rent them or pay for them. And sometimes it's like, do I want to pay for this movie, or can I watch something new for free?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
But
Sometimes,
I'd go with the 90s because there's some good ones.
There were a couple of movies that Kat and I rewatched over the last week in preparation for this episode that I was like, I can't believe. I mean, it's only $3.99 to rent them, but I can't believe I'm paying $3.99 to rent this
It should
movie
be free.
right now. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I feel like I had some more movies that I held close to my horror heart than I actually remembered thinking back about the 90s. I mean, I think it has a bad reputation, in general, but I think if you're a hardcore horror fan, there's definitely a lot to love in this decade. So, which kind of brings me into our next talking point here before we kind of kick this draft off. Do you guys feel that there are any movies or any number of movies in the 90s that are off the table here, that are too well-known, too popular to talk about? I know we kind of talked about this last week, either on the show or not on the show, but I mean, I think there's actually more of them in the 90s than maybe in the 2000s.
There's a couple, but I don't think we
to see
should.
what you got.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't want to step on Kat's toes, but I would say Scream, Blair Witch. I would even put Candyman in that light because I think Candyman's a classic.
Yeah.
But
I also had The Sixth Sense as potentially one, even though it wouldn't be
I'd say
one
The
for
Sixth
me.
Sense.
It's never a movie that
I've
I
never
would
considered
pick.
that a horror movie, but it is, I guess, technically.
Yeah, Scream, Sixth Sense, Blair Witch. I mean, Silence of the Lambs.
I was going to say
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that on my list, but I had a feeling that we were gonna.
Yeah, and I also
maybe?
I could talk about Seven all day.
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't necessarily know that I want to pick it, but if it's out there, I might be tempted to. So.
That should be devoted to its own.
So are we
Yeah.
saying that we're not picking those movies?
What do we
can
think?
pick
What do we
anything
think?
you want.
I'm cool with like whatever. I feel like with the 70s and 80s, there was some that were like with the 70s, it's like
Iconic
everyone
horror
knows that
movies.
The Exorcist, Halloween, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are like the three best horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
So there was no real point, but like with the 90s, I think there's still like enough people that maybe haven't seen all these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know at least a couple of those movies we mentioned might destroy someone's list entirely if we take them off the table.
I also think, too, there's
So
right,
I think
yeah,
we should
yeah.
just
So
leave
heavy.
everything.
Don't look at
Yeah.
me. They're not going to
I'm
destroy
not- I also think-
my
I
list.
think
I
this
didn't
is
look
what
at
we're-
you.
I
I'm
wouldn't-
saying all around.
In plenty of people's minds, Scream might not be a top 5 horror movie.
Right.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing with Blair Witch. Same thing with Candyman. So I don't think.
I think it's just more of a conversation that is what probably some of our favorites
Yeah,
are
it's-
of the most mainstream horror releases of the 90s, right? I think that goes without being said. I might not pick any of those movies, and we'll see. It depends on how much of my list gets eliminated here. But it's just, I would think if you're looking to start watching 90s horror movies, I mean, if you haven't seen any of those movies,
It's basically
Yeah.
a draft.
fucking
It's
watch
basically a
it
draft
right
that
now.
you can't draft Christian McCaffrey or
yeah,
Alvin Kamara
yeah,
with
of
the
course,
first
of
couple
course.
picks,
Because I mean, of those movies, we've done the Blair Witch Project, we've done Scream. Actually, we
did the
haven't
Candyman
done,
remake.
yeah, we haven't done Sixth Sense, we haven't done Silence of the Lambs yet. We talked about the Hannibal TV show.
We gotta have a serial killer month.
Yeah, we should do a serial killer month. But yeah, we can figure all that shit out. You guys ready to find out what the draft order is?
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's see. We got the randomizer list up here, so let's see what we go with. We're still gonna do the snake draft style like we did last week. So if you're familiar with fantasy sports, you know what a snake draft is. And here we go. With the number 1 pick, we're going to Mr. Matt Audette. Number 2
Yeah, baby.
goes to. So essentially, we're going this way. So it goes to Matt, goes to Mike, goes to Andrew, goes to Kat at 4 for 2, and then back this way. So you
Okay.
get 2, and Matt also gets 2 in a row. So with that being said, Mr. Audette, are you ready to kick off the 90s
I am.
with a Jinko jean wearing stellar ass fucking 90s horror movie pick? Let's go.
Yeah. So for number
so bad, Jesus
number
Christ.
1, I'm gonna go with 1992 Peter Jackson's Dead Alive.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I love this movie. This movie is super, super insane. Definitely has some like Evil Dead kind of like situations going on with the it's kind of a horror comedy with how just over the top it is. Really gory. Kind of noted as one of the bloodier horror movies of all time. Some ridiculous amount of like special effects blood, like hundreds of gallons were used. So if you haven't seen it, this is one of the ones that I was saying is like impossible to find. So you can't stream it anywhere. You can like maybe like kind of find a shitty like run of it on YouTube, but it's by no means in good quality. And then like you can't get the DVDs anywhere. The Blu-ray is a tremendous amount of money on Amazon, so it's like, and I don't even think it might have an issue where since it's from New Zealand that it might kind of be like what I had with Dawn of the Dead when I got this like foreign copy that didn't work on my stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know, but Dead Alive, if you haven't seen it, basically it's a kind of a crazy take on a zombie movie. So
I haven't seen it.
and it's Peter Jackson before he
It's
did
incredibly
That's
gory.
crazy,
I would
like
say
Lord of the Rings and shit. So.
without that movie from Peter Jackson, you don't get the Frighteners, you don't get the Lord of the Rings movies, you don't get the King Kong remake.
Wow.
I don't know what he's been doing lately, but you don't get any of those movies. That was one of his. It was kind of like what that movie did for him, what Evil Dead did for Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Raimi got the Spider-Man movies after that. Peter Jackson ended up getting Lord of the Ring.
Yeah.
Also,
very, very fun
so
movie.
called Dead Alive, but also called Brain Dead.
Brain Dead,
yeah,
yes.
in Australia,
Yeah,
right? If
that's
I remember
the
correctly, so it
original.
has 2 titles. But yeah, it is fucking really, really slapsticky, gory, like gross.
Yeah,
type
it's
stuff.
disgusting.
Yeah,
Like, there's
it's
some
nasty.
really, really gnarly parts in it.
The scene at the dinner table,
Yeah.
where what is it? Is it a nose or an ear that
An ear.
falls off?
Her
An
own ear,
Oh my
yeah.
god! And she's eating soup, and her ear falls into the
And
soup.
she just
and-
eats it. And her brain's like becoming a zombie, so she kind of doesn't. Really,
Yeah.
she's just like not well.
Yeah,
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's
I can get down with that.
it's very wacky. And it's super like bright. Like I kind of call it like one of those like comfort horror movies. That like if you're feeling shitty, you can put it on because it's just like almost daytime the whole movie,
Which is weird for,
and
like,
it's
a
just
horror
very
movie.
bright colored and like it's made well. It's just very wacky and crazy. So it's cool.
it is definitely a wacky movie. If you're a fan of the Evil Dead, like you said, you'll be a fan
You'll
of this
absolutely
movie.
love it. Yeah.
Must see if you're an Evil Dead fan. So, okay, so Dead Alive off the board at 1 of the 90s, which means we're going to me here, and I have a decision to make.
Decisions, Michael.
Did anyone have Dead Alive?
I didn't. I've never seen it.
not.
so
I
I've
did not have
never.
Dead Alive.
Yeah.
I did not. I knew.
You could have waited on that one.
I jumped right on
Right.
it.
You're
I
like,
didn't
it's
know.
mine now.
Yeah.
So I am going to. I'm going to kick off my picks with a movie from 1990 that is a landmark in the practical effects 90s B horror monster movie genre. And I'm going to go with Tremors. I absolutely love Tremors. It's a stupid movie, but also such an awesome movie at the same time. And I can feel Kat glaring daggers at me right now. I'm
one of
sorry.
her picks?
There are other ones that you can pick from as well.
That's
I'm
fine.
not going to take any of the
That's
other
okay.
ones that I know that you love. I just love Tremors so much. I think it's an awesome movie. It's such a it's a wild but concept, but you almost kind of feel like it's kind of plausible. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's an interesting premise where like you can't run around, you can't make a lot of noise, you're jumping on top of buildings. I mean, you get Kevin Bacon as Valentine McKee, and more on him in a little bit. Fred Willard is his buddy there. A lot of actors in the movie were like, it's one of like those guys or gals. Like, oh, I know this person from this. Like you were watching Supernatural the other night,
Yeah.
and one of the guys in the episode that you were watching is in Tremors. I forget exactly what I don't know what the character's name was. It was on the background. I don't know what
every
it was.
different
But
episode's different.
yeah,
so.
he was the gun guy that has like the gun thing, like the gun basement with the million guns on the wall, and he's got the mustache and the wife. And
Bobby. Right? Oh, no.
I
Maybe.
don't know what his name
It's
is
fine.
in either of them. But yeah, so that guy.
That
And I would just
never
say, like, it was received horribly at the time, as again, a lot of these movies were, but the creature effects hold up amazingly
Yeah,
in this movie.
they're pretty good.
Yeah.
guy?
No, not him. No,
Oh.
different guy. Different guy.
It had to have been like a big like puppet.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think
Animatronics,
there's any like
puppets.
CGI anything at all.
Yeah, they definitely.
No,
I feel
there's
like they
no
couldn't
C- they
afford
can't
it.
be
They didn't have the
CGI.
budget for it.
Didn't
They
look-
probably
it
spent
didn't
all
look
their
like
money on
CGI.
Kevin Bacon for that movie. I would think.
Right?
That's got to be one of the movies that like created the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing.
Oh,
Oh, absolutely.
for sure.
Because
Yeah.
people probably put Tremors on and they're like, he's in this too. Like,
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Bacon. What else is he in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Tremors. It's
Awesome movie.
it's one of my favorite monster movies of the '90s, and there might be a theme here for me. We'll see.
There's a lot.
But did you guys ever see the trailer for the unmade Tremors TV show that
I
was going to
think
bring
you
Kevin
showed me
Bacon
this.
back
Pretty sure you
as
showed me
Valentine
this.
McKee?
Yeah.
Dude, it was essentially taking place. They filmed it like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just old Kevin Bacon as Valentine McKee and like The town has become a tourist attraction because of all the worm attacks in the 90s. It ignores all the sequels. It's got a statue in town of a gigantic graboid with Kevin Bacon's character riding it. So, it looked so awesome. And whatever executive decided to pass on this, fuck you. Give me a Tremors TV series all day with Kevin Bacon. So, yeah, Tremors at 2 for me.
Hilarious.
Tremors, baby. That's all I have to say about that.
It's a solid pick. I like it.
Andrew, to you, my friend.
I'm going to go with 1994's John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness.
Tight.
Love that movie. It's very good, very weird, very Lovecraftian.
Very
it's
Andrew.
The third part in the Apocalypse trilogy with The Thing. And then you got, what's the other one?
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness. And then you have this one, and it's got Sam Neill in it. So as long as you have Sam Neill in anything, it's going to be awesome.
Sam Neill was on fire.
Sam Neill in the 90s.
Big 1994 was a big year for
because
Sam
what was he? Event Horizon.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I think the Omen, the third or fourth Omen. I don't know if it was 90s or not. If it wasn't late 80s, it was early 90s. The third Omen.
He's been in so many.
He's in a lot of horror movies like that.
He's in so many weird.
Good decade
plays a
for
very
Sam Neill.
good psychotic, like someone that's just lost their mind.
Gotta tell you, looking good in the new Jurassic World trailer, by the way, as Alan Grant all these years later.
Oh, yeah.
Looking good.
Pretty good. I didn't know that they were bringing back all like the OG people.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Both
Jeff
are
Goldblum,
phenomenal. Yeah, Laura Dern does. They all look good.
Laura Dern looks
good.
the same too.
They don't age. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, Laura Dern was in
That's Showbiz.
what was it Big Little Lies, which we watched.
Yeah.
So like I had seen her in stuff, but I feel like Sam Neill's not in too much stuff lately. And I mean Goldblum actually has kind of been, but he's just stud.
Man.
Anyway, but yeah, continue about your movie. Sorry.
It's just a great movie. It's about this guy that's writing books. This guy Sutter Kane has like 6 novels out, and Sam Neill plays like an insurance adjuster who basically comes in. He's hired by these companies to decide whether it's fraudulent or a real claim. So basically, Charlton Heston's in it, which is wild that he's still doing movies. And
I forgot about that.
yeah, he plays the he's like the publisher for Sutter Kane. And then basically they're trying to find Sutter Kane because they want to either get the money because they need the rest of the book written. So they travel to this place, Hobbs End, which is in New Hampshire, which is very Lovecraftian. The fact that this is this random town that's not real in New England. So they travel there and they go through like some wormhole, basically like this. They go through some tunnel. They end up there and basically Sutter Kane's books are coming to life because all of his readers believe in it so much and are just so insane that it's becoming reality. And it's just, there's weird monsters. You got the grandma from from Happy Gilmore in it. That's awesome.
So
I'm in. She kills her husband and then she turns into. It's just such a wild movie. It's so weird. Like Sam Neill's awesome in this movie.
I admittedly haven't seen this movie in a long time, and it's one that I wanted to rewatch this week, but I didn't get around to it, so I will after the fact.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, I feel like Carpenter's known for his work in the 80s and the late 70s. Like, his stuff in the 90s is really, really, really
I thought what was pretty
really
funny,
good.
too, rewatching it.
He's made
was,
some very, very good movies in his life.
I don't know if
my
it's
God,
a Carpenter thing, but like, so when he's in the insane asylum at the very beginning, they're all put in their cells, and then they put on this song, and it's we've only just begun by the Carpenters playing, and he's like, not the Carpenters again. And I was like, I wonder if that's like a John Carpenter.
No, knowing him, it very well may be.
Yeah, he got into a beef with Hollywood after, I don't know if like the late 90s, early 2000s either. He hasn't made movies in a long time.
Yeah, I think he's kind of content from the interviews that I've seen, and just being a curmudgeon and collecting royalty checks off Halloween stuff. Even though I think like probably the most involved he's been with the last trilogy of Halloween movies where he's wrote all the music for, which is all phenomenal. Probably the best part.
Yeah, it's like him and his son.
Yeah, Cody. That's right. Yes. All right. Anyone else have anything to say about that last pick?
You even seen that movie?
No.
No, I didn't.
We should watch it together. It's a good movie.
What movie is it again?
Good.
In the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of
It's based off of the name is stole from a Lovecraft novel.
Yeah,
it's
Lovecraft.
At the mouth of
At the
mouth of mountains, or
at the Mountains of Madness.
At the mountains of madness. At the mouth of mountains.
You were right there.
I was close. There was like an M and something with a something.
Oh, God.
All right, Kat. That means we're to you for 2 in a row.
I was prepping for my pick as you were talking, so I wasn't really listening. Sorry. So.
Okay. Welcome back. I wouldn't expect you to come back in any other way.
Well, because, like when we started talking about movies we wouldn't talk about, then I was thinking to myself, well, then I'm going to not talk very much because I'll be like, well, we already talked about this, so I'm not even going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. So, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm having my own internal conversation with myself. So, I finally decided my first pick is not going to be Silence of the Lambs, Scream, Tremors, all the basic things. I'm going to pick Lake Placid. Cool. Sorry, Mike, for the monster pick.
That's okay. Oh, I love this movie. This is a great pick.
Yeah, I like this one too.
We just watched this last night. We decided to have a Sunday night on the couch and hang out and eat Peaceful Meadows and watch some scary 90s movies.
I had way too much Peaceful Meadows. I felt disgusted today. Oh, my God.
And, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great movie. And I remember liking it as a kid, and I like it still. It definitely withstands the test of time. Do I do a brief little synopsis of this movie? With
if you want to, you can just talk about it. An alligator is in a lake in Maine and eats people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jaws, but as an
alligator.
Yeah.
But, no, sorry. It's a crocodile. It's a saltwater crocodile that somehow migrates to Maine.
Right.
In a pond.
And in a pond or a lake.
Plausible.
Old Lake Placid.
And
yes,
Betty White is hysterical in it.
Yeah, it's actually
in that, huh?
So
I
I
Placid in New York.
It is, which is
yeah.
so. I actually Googled this because I was a stupid name for a movie called Lake Placid if it doesn't take place on Lake Placid. But there's actually, so placid, the definition of the word placid is just a very, like, calm.
Yeah.
So calm or still. So it's supposed to be an ironic
Kinda
title,
like
right?
Flaccid.
Placid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
going
Yep,
on.
there you
Yeah.
go. Very, yeah, exactly.
Placid,
Yeah,
Placid Lake.
fucking Limp Bizkit floating around over here. But to your point, sneaky, incredible cast in this movie.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda,
Yeah.
Oliver Platt steals the fucking movie. The entire movie is awesome. Brendan Gleeson, Alan Arkin's in this movie.
Betty White.
Betty White. Olivia Benson from SVU is in it. Mariska Hargitay, however you say her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, like awesome cast. And again, another movie from the 90s with a huge monster that is all practical for the most part.
Yeah.
They're actually, so Stan Winston, I looked this up last night because I saw you post a meme one time that like nails everything that I do while watching movies. The whole time we were watching it, I was like on IMDb reading about it.
Yeah, it was like
all
an
the
Onion
trivia.
article.
Yeah,
That's me.
for sure.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
So Stan Winston, who designed the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park, Pumpkinhead, all the Alien movies, he designed the crocodile for this movie. And they actually did have it's actually 40 feet long.
Wow.
So that, at the end, when they're driving down the highway with the crocodile, like on the bed of the truck, that was actually the animatronic, like from the movie.
You know, it's funny because you
Is
say
it bigger than the T-Rex in Jurassic Park? Because I'm pretty sure 40 feet long.
I think
That's
it was
huge.
somewhere between like 30 and 40 feet.
4 stories?
Because they said so. The crocodile's supposed to be 30 feet long in the movie, but it actually is bigger than what they're saying, like in the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I just remember at the end of that movie, when you see that like truck driving with the alligator, I'm like, how many drugs really does it take to really, sedate that alligator? And what would happen if it all of a sudden just became like aggravated in the middle of the highway and was just like, hey guys!
Yeah, you better drive fast. Yeah.
Yeah, but that movie's awesome. It rocks. I love all the cast.
There's
is
some
awesome.
good kills in it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a part, I remember watching it as a little kid. It was on like the Sci-Fi Channel. And this girl gets eaten, and her legs like hanging out, and it just like her like foot like flutters real quick. I was like, when I was a little kid, I was like, oh my god, he's still alive.
I love the one when the deputy's pulling like the sound thing up out of the lake, and as he's pulling it up, he like looks away, and the croc jumps out of the water and just bites his head off, but nothing else, and the guy's just like in the boat, like fucking vibrating around like a fucking cell phone getting called 25 times in a row, just like fucking flopping around.
What's her face?
Can you hear me now? No,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm dead.
Yeah.
What's her face? Fonda? Whatever.
Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda. She's like, can someone stop throwing severed heads at me? Like,
she gets a moose head thrown at her. She gets a person head thrown at her. Like, yeah. And also anything with Bill Pullman in it all day, I'll watch.
Pullman.
He's great,
He's
great
awesome.
guy.
That guy rocked.
Pride of UMass Amherst went there.
Oh no shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, Lake Placid.
Cool.
Solid.
Great,
pick.
great movie.
Thanks.
You should have picked Bats, but that's okay.
No, well, I actually
That movie's awful.
that was a strategic move because I knew Mike was going to pick it up.
I got
So
you.
I was actually going to leave Lake Placid alone. I was going to leave Lake Placid flaccid for you.
wow,
So, yeah,
well,
there you go.
thank you. I appreciate
How about
that.
Yeah. So what else are you going to pick?
Well, now I'm on to the rest of my movies I know no one is going to pick. So, and it's not Scream, but it is similar. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I knew you. When I was like going through mine today, I was like, I'm just gonna like not even talk.
Not
to
even bother.
What do you know? The two movies we watched last night getting picked back to back.
That's why I wanted to watch them.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's got, the solid 90s cast of Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Ryan Phillippe. What's the blonde Buffy
Sarah
girl?
Michelle-
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Get Johnny Galecki from fucking Big Bang Theory fame.
Oh,
Christmas
Sam.
Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
He plays Max, the first one that gets killed.
Yeah. So all-star cast, they have the fisherman vibe with the hook, and he's, swinging his hook around and he's lurking in the shadows all the time, and, Sarah Michelle Gellar's obsessed with her hair, and
Gordon's
so, like,
fish stick shows up.
Yeah. And they try and pin it on Freddie Prinze Jr. and it's like, oh my God, you broke up with me because you went away to college, but now I'm back, and like they're gonna figure out all this, stuff we did from last year, and we tried to throw this guy off the highway, and he came back to life.
So when we were watching it last night, I was kind of like going into it. I was like, I kind of wonder why Freddie Prinze Jr. isn't a thing anymore. Like, I feel like, so he's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar in real
and
life
they're
now.
like
They have
still
kids and
married,
shit.
and
Oh, wow, they're
yeah.
married. Long time.
So like it seems like there's always like you hear random stories online that he's like a wicked nice guy, like whatever.
I feel like,
why
it's
is this
like,
guy?
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah,
be
why
though?
isn't he? And then you watch this movie, and oh my God, is he a bad actor?
Yeah,
Holy mother of God, is he terrible? But just a handsome face.
Yeah,
Well,
he
yeah.
just had like a cute baby face.
Summer
Yeah.
Catch. He was no. Just kidding.
Summer Catch.
Scooby-Doo,
I actually
dude.
kind of like
Friends.
Summer Catch.
Scooby-Doo.
Summer Catch.
She's all
not
that.
horrible. So I honestly I don't think I've seen this movie since the 90s when
Yeah.
we watched it last night.
Yeah,
The only
watched
reason
it-
I would
haven't
watch that
seen it in a
movie
long
is
time.
for Jennifer Love Hewitt.
It's so. See, I didn't think she looked that pretty in it. She
Yeah,
looked
it's
very
the dumbest thing
It's
I've
not.
ever
It's that's not her most
Shining
attractive
moment.
role. No.
She
But
probably
they
looks better
want to
in the
make
second
her
one.
look like like strung out and depressed and anxious and shit. But yeah, the acting not great.
Heartbreakers is their best looking role.
Can't hardly wait.
Heartbreakers with Susan Sarandon and Gene Hackman, where they play like these two women that just find like old men and try to get all their money, and they like fall in love with them.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I don't.
She's
think
never been hotter in that movie.
Okay.
Good
All
to
right.
know.
Anyway, Susan
Also,
Sarandon looking good too.
as equally bad as Freddie Prinze Jr., Ryan Phillippe. Holy shit, was he bad?
Oh, he
was
was
terrible.
Oh, my
terrible.
God.
Yeah,
Jesus,
he's
he's-
What
way
was-
better.
what
And
was
than
he's still
What was that
acting.
movie
Yeah.
with Sarah Michelle Gellar that he was in? Like
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
That awful movie.
Oh, I like that movie.
Oh, Sarah
too.
loves that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
That's
must
a
be
girl
a girl.
movie.
It's a girl thing. Yeah.
It's a girl movie.
I like Cruel Intentions. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my 1 and 2 picks.
I
That was in '97.
yeah.
By the way.
I
didn't know if you
see.
mentioned the year.
Again, as slashers aren't necessarily my thing for the most part, and I just think this is it's an okay slasher.
That's okay.
I know you like it. I know just for my taste, personally, not one of my favorites.
That's why I bring it to the table because
Yeah.
no one else is gonna pick
You got to
it.
bring it to the table. You gotta bring something to the
Cool,
table.
cool look for the killer, wearing the slicker and the fisherman's hat
Yeah.
and the hook.
And
Cool
the,
thing
like,
to kill people
and,
with.
like the fencing mask. pretty
Yes.
much, right?
Yep.
Or am I thinking of Urban Legend? I think I'm thinking
that's
of
right.
Urban
That's
Legend.
Yeah,
Urban
because
Legend.
he's dressed
Yeah.
like a he's
'Cause I think he
Gordon
literally-
Fisherman, basically.
Yeah.
He's got like a yellow.
Yeah, because you
jacket.
ultimately see his face at the end when they find him and he doesn't have the suit on because he's
Yeah.
with Freddie Prinze and he's
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean the movie was in the 90s.
Not working,
so, I mean-
not working together. Not working
I think I saw
together,
that
per
movie
se.
once, and it was probably with my sister in the 90s. and
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
then-
No, I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, go see it. I'm paying $3 for it. No, it's
Yeah.
actually what is it? Streaming on?
I feel like it's
I
on
rented
Netflix.
it for $3.99
Oh,
last
you
night.
did?
Yeah,
I
for
thought
you.
it was on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix.
it's
I
for
checked.
free on
I checked on
Netflix.
Google. It didn't say that it was. But
I'm pretty sure I saw it
Yeah.
on Netflix like today.
Lake Placid's on Hulu, so you can watch Lake Placid if you have Hulu. All right, Andrew, where are we going next?
I'm gonna go with 1993, The Dark Half
Oh,
by George A. Romero.
I didn't know that
King.
he directed this.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, shit.
Stephen King wasn't pleased with it either, but a lot of people weren't pleased.
has he
with
come
it.
out and said that? I didn't know that
I think
Stephen
there's
King
been
didn't
like things
this
that he
one.
wasn't like thrilled with his take on.
Because him and Romero were like good friends.
Yeah,
they're homies.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic movie. Timothy Hutton, awesome.
Good actor.
He's like in every USA movie that's ever been, a thing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's this writer who has,
What do you know? A Stephen King story
a
based
Stephen
on
King-
a guy with a writer.
Yeah, Thad Beaumont. He's a regular, very famous writer, and then he has his alter ego who writes these grimy crime novels.
Yeah. It was supposed to be
George
a take.
Stark.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a take on him with Stephen King himself with his Richard Bachman.
Yeah,
Thing.
I mean, I feel like everything Stephen King does is kind of derived from real life, basically. And there's some murders start to take place, and they mirror the George Stark movies, so they think that Timothy Hutton's character is the one perpetrating these murders. Basically, what happens is his alter ego, his other writer, he had a parasitic twin brother when he was born that was removed, but now there was a part that was still there, so it's trying to take over, and the sparrows are flying again.
It's very Stephen King.
This is one of the most Stephen King. When you think of Stephen King, you think of this movie, and I love it. It's so cheesy, it's so bad, but it's just so good.
It's definitely not the worst.
The scenes where Timothy Hutton is playing the George Stark character, where he's reenacting his own stories and killing people, are just so cheesy but so good. He's that New York style. I kill you. It's just so
scumbag.
good.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I'm sure Mike has seen this movie. You've obviously seen this movie. Kat,
No.
I haven't read the book yet.
I've never read the
gone to
book.
but
What are your thoughts, Mike? You like this movie?
Dark Half's a good movie, for sure. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's definitely one of those movies that flies under the radar. Underrated.
Like a sparrow.
Oh, yeah, like a sparrow. Underrated King movie, underrated Romero movie, for sure.
yeah,
think
I
it's
honestly had
extremely
no idea
underrated.
that
Yeah.
Romero directed it.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that
that's
weird?
wild.
You wouldn't think that, but yeah. Awesome.
Wild and crazy kids. How about that? Beautiful. So, yeah, the Dark Half. Also, yeah, Timothy Hutton, great actor. Very,
Timothy
very
Hutton's
good.
awesome. He was also in Secret Window. There's another Stephen King
Ooh,
movie.
I love Secret Window.
Timothy
with Johnny
Hutton
Depp.
was in Secret
he
Window?
plays the guy that's cheating on.
Right.
I haven't seen that in a long
What's his
time.
face?
Yeah.
Wife.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's
Johnny
wife,
Depp's
because I know
wife,
John Turturro's in that.
Yeah, he's
Timothy
a
Hutton's
maniac.
sleeping
Yeah.
with his wife.
Okay,
That's
all right.
right.
See, I would have never remembered that unless you brought it up.
That's why I'm here.
Dark Half, Andrew. Very nice. Very
We
nice.
all have a dark half.
Okay, so I
Ba-dum,
guess
ding.
that means we're going back to me here, and I'm going to take another movie from the 90s about giant slithering monsters that
Anaconda.
devour people. And this time it's going to be not in the desert, but on the ocean. And I'm going to go with 1998's Deep Rising.
You know what? I knew you were going to pick this
I
today.
fucking
Mike
love
loves them.
love
I was
this movie.
going through them and I saw
Oh.
the poster. I was like, oh, Mike's going to be all over it. I was like, it's going to be the first one he
It
picks.
is, I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm for me. So you get, this is, I mean, I have two movies by this director back to back, Stephen Sommers. I'm not going to reveal what the second one is because maybe it'll be at the last one on my list come the end of this. So we'll see. Stephen Sommers directed this. It's essentially about a group of mercenaries that are trying to rob an ocean liner. And when they're on the ocean liner, the entire ocean, everyone on the ocean liner for the most part, has been killed in gruesome and disgusting ways by giant sea worms, essentially. Where the sea worms suck them, eat them, remove all the liquid from their bodies and then
Ugh.
spit them back out. So they're like these emaciated, disgusting
Jellyfish.
it's gross. But they're big, actually almost kind of like Tremors. But they're supposed to be an evolution of deep sea, carnivorous worms or some shit like that. Now, what I will say is, this movie, the CGI does not hold up.
So you're gonna pick
The
one.
CGI.
Worms.
Okay, hold on.
For my next pick, I'm going to pick worms.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Termites starring this guy.
The CGI does not work that well these days when you watch it. The CGI is a little wonky, but I mean, you get some great character actors in this movie. It's got Famke Janssen. She played Jean Green Jay.
Oh, she was
Jean
also
Grey
in
X-Men.
Goldeneye.
Also in Goldeneye. She was also in Nip Tuck for a long time. So she's like the femme fatale of this movie. You get Treat Williams as the main character.
You love a lot of Treat Williams movies, I feel like.
Name another Treat Williams movie that I like besides this one.
Just name another Treat
I feel
Williams
like the
movie.
fact that you've said Treat Williams' name twice on this podcast.
I said Treat Williams because we were talking about Deep Rising last week. That's why.
This was before that. You've mentioned Treat Williams way too many times.
Okay, all right.
Just
Well,
saying.
Treat Williams is in this movie. You got Kevin J. O'Connor, who is also famous for another movie by this director that came out a year later, which may or may not be talked about. I guess we shall see. At least
Is there another worm movie?
Honorable mentions. No, there's no worms in that movie. There are carnivorous insects in that movie. And a guy with great hair. But
It's another slithering phallic.
That's what I thought it was.
yeah, right. So I'm sorry.
Snake like I can be.
I didn't even realize until this moment that I picked two movies about slithering monsters that eat people in the 90s. But I mean, I don't know if you can pick two movies better in a row than Tremors and Deep Rising. Guys.
I don't know
mean,
if you
Jesus
could.
Christ.
You could put the '90s into one word more than just slithering
Worms.
worms. 2 words.
I mean, does anybody else see this movie besides me?
Deep Rising.
Like
I
it?
thought
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a movie.
Oh,
No, that's Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep
yeah.
Blue Sea.
Yeah, this isn't my type of movie. It's
all right.
weird worm movie.
Slithering worms.
I've
No?
seen it when I first saw it. I saw it a long time ago. This was back when I was definitely like younger, because I used to love like the creature features from the '90s. I loved Anaconda. I thought that movie was wild. Lake Placid.
I love John Voight pretending like he's like French or something in that movie. Or, like,
Yeah.
John Voight bit you.
But I always remember the first time I saw Deep Rising, I thought it was like a giant squid, and then I was like, oh, they're
Something
like
like
worms.
that. Yeah, it almost like looks like a giant, like a
a
big
kraken?
monstrous kraken giant
Some
squid type thing.
Lovecraftian-
Octopus.
Yeah.
But I guess it's supposed to be a worm. I looked it up today, so I don't know.
Mike loves worms.
Yeah, give me the
I haven't
worm.
seen it in, I'd say, at least like 16 or 17.
Well, I will say that I know my tastes generally skew a little bit towards more popular things. I'm happy I picked a movie that none of you guys have seen
I
anytime
think we should
recently.
make Mike a new T-shirt instead of Thug Life. It just says Slug Life.
Slug life.
That'd be sick.
I can do that.
All right,
I can make that happen.
You got the Tremors on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the
Tremors.
back, it's just
Yeah,
all
that'd
the
be pretty
movies
sick.
that have
Yeah, baby.
like slithering animals
Slug
in them.
Life.
Slug Life, baby.
Slug
Life. Sign me up. Make it trend on Twitter, folks. All right. All right, Mr. Audette, that means we're over to you for 2.
Yep. So these are my last 2, right?
Yes.
Correct, yeah, because we're doing 4 this round since we have
I
4
thought we were doing
people.
4 in the 2000s.
Oh, we're doing... okay. I don't know. What do we decide?
Oh, we can do
we can
4.
hash it out now. We're doing 3 or 4 apiece.
I can do 4.
We're 38 minutes in.
I can do 4, but
Yeah.
If we go quickly, we can do...
yeah,
four.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Do 4 in this
Okay.
one.
All right, so I'm going to go with 1999 Takashi Mike Audition. So,
Takashi
seen that
Miike.
Huh?
I've never seen that either.
dude, so this is a Japanese horror movie. It's unbelievably fucked up. So, quick synopsis: this dude's wife dies. His buddy convinces him to kind of hold an audition, like they're going to be filming a movie. He's looking for actresses. He meets this girl. He tells her he's going to call her. Doesn't call her. You get this image of her sitting by her phone waiting. So when he finally does, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, she's fucking insane. I don't want to give away too much because
It's a movie
it
best.
gets insane.
Yeah, it's a movie best seen without knowing too
Yeah,
much.
so if you can go into it as blind as possible, it's just kind of you're dealing with the psychotic lady situation.
I feel like I don't
But
even...
I don't want to tell you like how fucking
I don't want to
deep
spoil it
gets.
for either of you.
Yeah, now I
You
feel-
will love this fucking
You
movie.
will love this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Well, I
It's
feel
super
like
fucked
all
up.
those type of movies, like Old Boy and all those movies, they just like fucked
If
up.
you like Old
Yeah.
Boy, you'll
Who
love
doesn't
this.
love Old Boy?
This, yeah. So,
I actually think I like this better than
I do
Old
too.
Boy. Yeah.
yeah. This
Audition?
Yeah.
You said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on.
I was thinking
It's
of
on
the other
Tubi
movie,
for sure.
The Audition.
Tubi, baby.
Another
Tubi's
Yeah,
got everything.
Yeah, Tubi has
Tubi.
it.
We talked about Tubi.
You
We
might
should
have to
plug
toggle
Tubi.
the. We should. Tubi rocks, dude. I'll say it. I think Tubi's
We've
the
talked
best
about
app
Tubi
there
now
is.
twice in a row, and
We
it's
did,
pretty
yeah, we did.
serious.
Yeah.
We were like, we don't want to blow it up because then it'll
know,
cost
now.
money. But Audition. If you watch it on Tubi, I think you have to just toggle the subtitles on because I think it just plays it just in Japanese.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you just got to make sure you turn on the English subtitles and you'll be good to go. That's what I had to do the other day when I rewatched it.
Nice.
But crazy movie, highly recommend Audition.
the premise.
Dude, it's fucking heavy. You're not ready.
Yeah. It's
You're not ready.
You'll
Yeah.
love it. You'll love it. Okay.
And then let's
Audition,
see.
baby.
I'm going to go for my next one. I'm going to do 1990 Frank Marshall's Arachnophobia.
Ooh.
So
Daniels,
right.
baby.
this movie rocks, and I actually I haven't watched it in a really long time, because I'm like kind of scared to, because spiders are fucking gross.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm like weird. Like big spiders are scary, but those spiders are kind of big, and like I don't know, it's just a gross movie. Like if you haven't seen it, this like basically spider comes in, transferred through mail, and it basically takes refuge in a suburban home in like New England. And it just like it lays 1 trillion eggs, and these spiders go around killing a bunch of people in town, and Jeff Daniels has to save the day. This is pre-Dumb and Dumber Jeff Daniels, by the way. Also has John Goodman in it.
I forgot John Goodman was in this movie.
He's the exterminator. Yeah. Unreal movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. But if you're afraid of spiders, like you're going to fucking hate it. So you might not want to watch it.
I think I've only seen this movie once.
It's like it's a
never
creepy movie.
I never knew it was set in New England, which makes it like that much worse. But
I'm pretty sure it's in New England.
yeah, if you don't like spiders,
it's somewhere where these spiders aren't supposed to be. So yeah.
It's like those Joro spiders. You hear about those things coming to New England?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
Is this a
Japanese
real thing?
parachute spiders or whatever.
Ugh. Yeah, they're gross. They're like basically like daddy long legs, where their fangs they're too
I don't
brittle.
want- I don't
They
like-
can't bite you though. You're fine. They're just
Yeah,
big
they
and
don't
gross
bite,
and
but they're
nasty.
just big and
Disgusting.
creepy and fast.
Oof, yeah,
Gross.
yikes.
So yeah, that's my number 3 pick.
Arachnophobia.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What's the next worm pick from
No more. I mean,
There's got to be a few more worm movies
I
out
mean,
there, right?
you got one more worm pick to go.
so this is gonna be my my like '90s horror teen icon pick of the decade here. I'm gonna go with 1998's The Faculty, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Actually,
Yep.
despite your best efforts, there is a slithering alien-like
It's a
monster.
it's a fish, I suppose. Well, wow.
Despite your best efforts, V is actually
They do have tentacles.
A number
They do have
5.
tentacles. So I guess what I was gonna say is not only does this movie have an awesome cast. I mean, you get Josh Hartnett, Clea Duvall, Elijah Wood.
Yeah, a lot of them ended up being like pretty successful
Yeah.
actors.
Robert Patrick's in it.
Josh
Salma
Hartnett.
Hayek plays the school nurse. Who are some of the
Nice.
other teenagers?
Josh Hartnett.
I said Hartnett already. Who else? There's the dude that plays like the quarterback guy. He was in
Usher.
Alpha.
Usher.
He was in Alpha Dog. I forget the guy's name. I don't know, but there's
Usher.
Usher's in it.
Justin
That's right.
Timberlake.
Usher's in it. I'm trying to think, but there's a bunch of people. Directed by Robert Rodriguez, and this is obviously a movie that it borrows from a lot of movies, right? It's like a teenage version of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And they rip off the blood test scene from The Thing completely
Yeah.
in this movie. Which,
Very out of
yeah.
like Robert Rodriguez's usual like feel.
Right.
Like he usually kind of has that like Southwest like Tex-Mex kind of thing going on.
Yeah, he had a couple home runs in the 90s.
Sure did. From Dusk Till Dawn rocks.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
one I was
phenomenal
actually
movie.
debating
That's
about maybe talking
still
about.
in the air, boys.
Yeah, it's
And
still
great.
out there. But yeah, I mean, say what you will about some of these, like these actors in these movies in the '90s, and I think this is a pretty strong cast. I mean,
Yeah.
it's corny as fuck. They all play off each other. It's funny to see like Elijah Wood so young, like playing
Little
like the
Frodo.
dorky kid, and then Josh Hartnett trying to play like a badass. It's interesting how they cast some of these people. And like, it's one of those movies where like clearly they're supposed to be in high school. Everyone looks like they're 25.
That's the that's the best
You know,
part
like,
about it. Like,
yeah,
that's
it's
like
kind
a
of awesome.
scary movie like played on so well.
Yeah.
They're still doing that nowadays with like Euphoria. Like,
Yeah.
None of the
And again, another one of those movies, like to me, like the CGI does not hold up great, okay? But like,
It's not gonna though.
it's not gonna.
No.
It's not gonna. Like that's the caveat with
Unless
all
it's
these 90s movies,
Jurassic
right?
Park, but they don't even use CGI.
Right.
Jurassic Park is insanely good.
It's
special
yeah.
effects.
It looks
do
better
use
than
CGI,
most
but-
CGI movies these days.
But a
The
lot of it's
effects.
practical
unbelievable.
effects.
The T-Rex breaking out of the cage scene is like. The animatronic in that is the most unbelievable thing.
Like,
still,
that's like-
I've
that's a
ever,
real
I've
dinosaur.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Raptors in the kitchen.
Raptors in
Yeah,
the kitchen
those are
too.
real dinosaurs.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Even
That should be like a song title. Raptors in the
The
kitchen.
Dilophosaurus, when the Dilophosaurus is killing Newman, and that frill pops out, and it's like rattling. Fucking- that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
when I
that used
saw
to scare me when I was a kid.
That was one of the scarier scenes of that movie.
For sure, because he's blind anyway,
Yeah,
and he's
dude.
like, crawling up, and you
that
can't
thing
even
is
see it, and
scary.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's just there again. It's just like,
I'm gonna run you over when I come back down.
I love that. He's so funny in that. But anyway, yeah, The Faculty, it's an underrated '90s movie. So that's my third pick.
I love that, like, no one refers to Jurassic Park, like, that guy as his actual name in the movie. It's just Newman. From
Newman.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's just like if, like,
Newman.
Newman got
Dennis-
himself in a really
Dennis
bad
Nedry.
situation.
Oh yeah.
Dennis Nedry.
Wait, that's your fourth pick. That's your last pick. right?
No, I have.
no,
only,
there's
I'm
still
all
one
on my
more?
third, and we wrote rap. You've only done 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you have your last 2 in a row.
Yeah, so that's all.
Oh.
That's about all I have to say about The Faculty. So Andrew, if you want to go, you can go. Unless
So-
anyone else has anything to say about The Faculty.
I do not. I love war movies as much as the next person. But, I would be remiss
Worm Life.
if
I got worms.
during a draft, did not pick a Clive Barker film.
Yeah, I knew this was.
So I'm gonna go with 1990s Nightbreed.
Nice.
Fantastic movie.
I know you picked that.
I feel like it gets a bad
1990
rap.
was a huge year. There's
Was
a
it?
lot of good horror movies came out in 1990.
I feel like they're just on the cusp. They're not 80s, but they're 90s. You know who's in that movie? You've never seen Nightbreed.
I've never seen Nightbreed.
David
you would like it.
Cronenberg.
I think you told
Yeah,
me.
he
He's
is.
Dr. Dr. Decker. He's he's like a serial killer. It's a wildly weird movie. Like
Yeah.
it's such an Andrew movie. Like you said, like a lot of the shit is just out of control. Like basically, there's this guy Boone who has a girlfriend, and he's kind of crazy. So his girlfriend's like, you should go see this psychiatrist. So he goes sees Dr. Decker, who is David Cronenberg, and basically Cronenberg convinces this guy that he's committed all these murders. When in reality, Dr. Decker is the serial killer. He's committed the murders. So he basically just convinces him that you are a murderer.
Right.
And then there's like this place called Midian, which is underneath a graveyard where all these monsters
Midian.
live. There's a bunch of monsters that live under there.
Yes.
And Boone like visits it, and he like basically becomes one of the monsters. And they're like,
This is such an Andrew movie. Oh my
it
god.
makes zero. Like I've watched this movie like 3 or 4 times. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I
You know what?
fucking love it.
that sounds about in line with everything Clive Barker does because
Yeah, it's just
everything he
wild.
writes is so fucking far out there. It's unbelievable. It really
It's so
is.
good though.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's so weird.
Wild shit. You know what I think I love is that we, the three of us, very clearly, and I feel like you do too, but like hosting a show together for a while, I've noticed like obviously we each have
Our own type of
100%
Oh,
movies
yeah.
that like
Oh, yeah.
only the three of us would pick for sure. For sure.
That's like during these drafts, though. I basically set my draft up like Mike's never seen this movie. Kat's never seen this movie.
So
And then
I'm
like
taking
Audette. I don't know. Maybe he's seen this movie. I feel like Audette's the only like wild card on some of these.
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
Your
I've
your
seen that
tastes
great.
I knew you'd seen
your
it.
tastes are the most aligned. I think I'm noticing this through 3 weeks, or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I should say. Like you guys are probably the most close.
Yeah. Because we I think in the 70s and 80s ones, we like stole a couple
Yeah,
things from
a
each
couple.
other. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, because I'm like, this
I was
movie's all
surprised
picked-
you hadn't seen Audition.
Yeah,
I was kind of like
That's
waiting
I,
for you to be
yeah,
like, fuck.
I can't believe
Yeah,
you
I haven't
seen
seen.
that one
There's a
either.
lot of '90s movies I haven't seen though. I feel like,
Yeah.
or I've seen them and it was so long ago that I don't even remember them.
Okay. All right. Nightbreed. And Andrew picked through and through.
Dude, it's a Clive Barker movie. Watch it.
Of
Shut
course,
up.
of course. Yeah, I feel like you had to pick that one. All right, Gato. That means we're back to you.
You ready for another cat pick?
Here we go. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the 1999. I believe it's a remake
Is it?
of The Haunting.
Wow.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Liam Neeson.
Nielsen. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
What's his name? Do you say
Nielsen.
Stop
Liam
saying
Neeson.
Liam Nielsen. You say Liam Nielsen all the time. You said it on like 5 podcasts.
Leslie Nielsen.
His name's like
Liam
his name is
Nielsen.
Liam Neeson.
Like when he talks about the tricks.
Yes.
Are these solely
yes.
made for
I'm
children?
aware of the movie. I saw this movie in theaters. I did.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
good. I love it.
I know.
think
I
it's
know what you're
great.
talking about.
I love this movie. I've loved it ever since it came out. And
Fun fact, by the way,
What?
it is also an adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House.
that's what I mean. It was
Yeah.
a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
No,
what
but
I
I'm
said.
saying like the
From
most
the
recent
book.
TV series,
Yeah.
like that same story that's
right.
based on.
So that was remade after this remake was remade.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
What?
Hey, what a great way to sum up
That's
where
correct.
horror is
I'm
at
so
right now.
confused now.
That was remade. That was
after
remade.
That's how I feel when I
Yeah.
see new horror movies. I go, what? Confused. What happened? Oh, you remade that same thing?
Yeah.
In the remake?
So
yeah,
true.
that was
The remake of a remade movie.
Yeah,
from
that was
the-
already
That was actually
remade.
a very coherent and perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
That was
such
perfect.
a wild way to put
was
it.
perfect.
Loved it.
Yeah, I don't know, because like that girl, what's her face? Eleanor, her name is
Eleanor Rigby.
Lily Taylor. That plays
Yes, I know
Eleanor.
exactly what you're talking
She's,
about. Yeah.
She's kind of nuts in this, and then the whole house. I like the way that the house.
Oh, she's
kind
from The
of just
Conjuring.
kind
I
of-
hate that woman.
I'm sorry.
No, that's the one you're talking. I know who you're talking about. She's so annoying.
Personal
so
vendetta.
annoying.
Right?
Yeah, she just annoys me.
She's very annoying.
In The Conjuring,
No.
she bothers
Yeah,
me. She's the mom in The Conjuring, right?
She's
That's
very,
yeah.
very annoying. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Drives
She's
me
super
insane.
annoying. She's,
But that's her role.
yeah, she's meant to be. She's good at being annoying. I love the house in that movie because it's really like has its character and like how the things kind of like the whole house comes to life and the cherubs kind of move and like everything is kind of freaked out and Catherine Zeta-Jones is like, you're fucking batshit crazy, like to the other girl. And,
I
like,
actually do like when
Owen
Owen Wilson
just,
gets decapitated in this movie. Remember his head
yes,
gets chopped off?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good part.
yeah. There's a lot of when it gets to the
Wow.
end, it gets to be kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much like, yeah, wow.
Wow,
And is it just me, or am I mistaken, or is he always just trying to sleep with some woman with short hair?
Oh, absolutely.
Anaconda.
Like short hair.
No, in this
No
movie,
one has
is he
short
trying?
hair.
No, Anaconda. He's trying to get with like the short red.
Well, you see, the
red
thing
hair
is,
girl.
I don't discriminate against any hair.
Wow.
Wow.
My crooked nose. Wow.
Oh, God.
Oh, The Haunting. I
So-
was not expecting that movie to be picked. I'm
Really?
impressed.
I didn't know anybody liked that movie.
I do like that movie. I kind of want to watch that tonight before I go to bed. So, my
To
last,
round it off,
Yeah, we're
last
going.
pick, I'm
We're going. Let's
torn.
go.
Because I kind of want to pick one, but I'm not totally sure if it's totally a horror movie or not. And it's not Hocus Pocus.
Okay,
Artichoke
well, that's what
is-
that would have been my guess.
No.
Just pick it. Just pick
Yeah,
it.
it's
Ghost. 1990s Ghost.
that came out in 1990.
Patrick
I thought
Swayze.
that was an
With
80s
Patrick
movie.
Swayze and Whoopi
Wow,
Goldberg and Demi
Demi.
Moore.
Demi.
I love that
Japanese.
movie. I've loved that movie since I was a kid.
It's creepy.
It's awesome. It's creepy. They have the whole thing with the like demon
Ghost.
thing and ghost. I mean, it's called Ghost, so I mean, it's kind of a scary movie. And he's like talking to Whoopi Goldberg like through her ESP that she allegedly
I
doesn't
mean,
have.
that's
That
scary in
she
general.
have you seen Ghost, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a horror movie.
No, it's not. I mean, it's
Like,
borderline.
Not even.
Borderline.
That's not even.
It was
borderline.
between
Ghost.
that and The Craft, and The Craft is just
The
I mean,
Craft
Should have
is
picked
more
The
of a-
Craft.
It's good.
Yeah.
More of a horror movie
know,
than
but
Ghost.
What's the
I really
girl's
like
name?
Ghost.
Uh,
Faruqa.
Faruza Balk.
That chick
Oh,
rocks,
yeah.
dude.
Mhm.
She's awesome.
She actually bought a witchcraft store while making that movie.
I bet.
I know,
She
it was-
looks like she.
Her name's
was born in a
Her name's
witchcraft
Faruza.
store.
Vicky
Yeah.
Valancourt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vicky Valancourt.
It was between those two, so I picked one. I picked half of each. Can I do that?
Sure.
You pick half of each.
Yeah, like I can pick two, like for A and B.
I think either way, Ghost is a solid pick. It's
Yeah.
out there. It's different.
It's a
It is-
movie.
It has a
Yeah,
creepy,
it's a
it
movie.
is a creepy
It's
movie.
got Patrick Swayze in
It's
it.
very sad.
It's
but
very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. Demi Moore.
Yeah, he's stuck in purgatory
Never heard
until
of a
his soul,
Samia.
and then
A
it's
Samia.
like, you know, the other guy's like chasing him for his money and like all this stuff, and
It's like, what is he gonna do? He's dead.
right, yeah, it's wild.
You
And,
dead.
Yeah,
Sorry, Patrick.
yeah, it's a
The
crazy.
Sways.
movie. Yeah. So
Oh
that's
boy.
Did Patrick Swayze die?
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
he had
yeah.
pancreatic
Yeah.
cancer
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, that was a little while ago. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember it now. I
That
was
was
like,
a while
no,
ago,
dude,
yeah.
He was like skin and bones.
Yeah,
right
he was
before.
awful.
Yeah,
That
it looked
sucks.
terrible.
He's a
Awful
great
stuff.
guy.
Awful stuff. Yeah, you knew him well. I know you
I
did.
did. I
You
knew him well. He was
yeah.
one of my buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Patrick were like
Yeah,
this.
me and Patrick were.
Yeah.
Me and Pat.
I was married to him before I was married to Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, me and him and Demi would make pottery on the weekends.
All right.
All right, well, that's enough. Go ahead.
All right, so Ghost.
Back to Andrew.
Ghost. All right, Andrew, what's next?
So, I mean, it classifies as horror. I feel like it's kind of not a movie you would consider horror, but it's one of my favorite 90s movies. And it's The Devil's Advocate,
Ooh.
1997,
Yep.
with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. I fucking love that movie.
I've only seen this movie once, and it was a long time ago. And
It's
I definitely
so
have to
good.
give it a rewatch.
Okay.
It's very good. Like, Keanu Reeves is awesome in this movie. Like,
You're a big Keanu guy. Oh, yeah.
John Wick.
I'd say it's one of his
In
best
Matrix.
Point Break.
acting.
I think he's
performances?
one of his best acting roles.
Yeah.
Like, he plays such a good, like, he's like a Southern lawyer who will do anything to win his case, and then he gets this job working in New York, and they suddenly get all this money, all this fame, all this
Notoriety.
notoriety.
Oh.
Basically, his dad is Al Pacino, who is essentially the devil.
Oh, I know. I've seen this. I love this movie.
I know. I was just giving a synopsis of the movie. I assume
right.
everyone
telling everyone out
movie?
there
No.
who might not.
You haven't
know.
seen this movie?
What is it again?
The Devil's Advocate.
I don't think I. If I did, I saw it in the 90s.
When you were, what, 8? I don't think
Yeah.
you saw The Devil's Advocate in the 90s.
No.
There is zero chance of you seeing The Devil's Advocate.
I would
The
have
year
been
it came
like
out.
10.
I will bet my life on it
I would
right
bet
now.
my life on that, too, because
Yeah.
I didn't see that movie when I was 10.
That
way.
came out in like 92, didn't it?
97, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 11
would've
years
been 8,
old.
yeah.
I definitely didn't see it.
I was
no
3,
fucking way.
so, yeah.
No,
My parents clearly
fucking
wouldn't
way.
have let me watch this movie. I watched the
You
movie
wouldn't
when
have
I was
even like
20 at the first
you
time.
wouldn't have even like been able to appreciate it. Like
Yeah,
you would
I
have
would
had a
have been
hard
like,
time
what am I
understanding
watching?
what was
I'm
going
scared.
on.
There's people yelling. What is going on?
Oh my god, drama! Holy shit!
It's
All
got
right.
the fucking principal, who's actually a creep from Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah,
Eddie Falcone.
yeah, he got
Eddie
yeah,
Falcone
bad-
is the
bad
best.
stuff,
When
yeah.
his death when he's getting chased, when he's going. You remember that scene where Eddie Falcone is running through, like he's doing
Yes.
his morning jog and he's getting chased? That scene is so
It's good stuff.
creepy.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Is
Devil's
Eddie
Advocate,
Falcone, is that his
not a
name?
movie. I think it's Falcone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we think of Batman, Carmine Falcone,
I think it's Eddie Balbone or Eddie.
Eddie Balbone, Calcone,
Eddie
Yeah, he's
Calzone.
in Beetlejuice too.
something Italian,
Calzone.
right?
I don't know.
Something Italian. All right. Actually, now that we're on to our last picks, I should probably say, it's probably a good time. I know you guys have both already picked your movies, so it only affects me and Matt here. But did you guys have any honorable mentions that almost made your list?
Oh.
That
Well, I
you,
had A and B for 4, so I mean.
Yeah. So what did you guys have any honorable mentions you want to talk about before we pick these last couple of picks here?
I have a
Leprechaun,
couple.
The Dentist.
Yep.
The Dentist, because it's such a terrible movie, but it's so good.
Okay.
Ever seen The Dentist?
Yeah.
It was
So the dude's wife like
Yeah.
cheats on him, so he
He's
just
like,
starts killing innocent
He's like,
strangers.
yeah, people
Yeah.
coming. Yeah, it's such a bizarre movie. It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
I had-
Sleepy Hollow.
I had Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
right,
Hollow
yeah.
was that was one I
From
thought
Dusk
about
Till
too.
Dawn, but
From Dusk Till Dawn, I had on my list as well. I'm not
Yeah.
going to pick it since I already picked another Robert Rodriguez movie this decade. Do you have any other ones, Kat?
I had Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. Okay.
And I had-
I'll say mine after you go, because I know you
Yeah.
won't pick my movie,
Yeah.
and I have some that you might pick. So
Yeah.
I did have it, the TV
so
series.
I got a couple
that you
more
claim.
worm movies going on here.
I do have these worm movies that I don't. I'll wait.
More Worm Life.
Oh my God.
Worm Life. Worm Life.
Well, she's wearing.
Wormtown.
While she's worms.
So,
That's awesome. While she's worms.
let's see here. So I had
Well, she's
Deep
wacky
Blue Sea
worm.
as one of my honorable mentions. I also had Mimic as one of my
Mimic.
my honorable
Awesome
mentions.
movie.
Del Toro movie with Norman Reedus, good movie. Another movie about giant insects.
Wow.
So, right up my alley. From Dusk Till Dawn, I also had,
Yep.
and I also had The Relic as one of my
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore and
Yeah.
Penelope Ann Miller. That's another monster movie. Not an
Are
insect.
you going to
though.
pick The Mummy right now?
I am going to pick The Mummy.
Really?
I am
was
going
like-
to pick The Mummy.
Wow.
Wild card, bitches! Woo!
This is wicked wild
I was
card
telling him earlier, I saw this like meme.
This is the best thing ever.
And
Listen to
it
this.
was this woman texted her husband and she goes, "My coworker just asked me if you could watch any film ever in IMAX, what would it be?" And he goes, "Clearly it would be The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz." And she goes, "My coworker said that it would be his wedding video." And he goes, "Well, clearly your coworker has never seen The Mummy." And I was like, I saw that and I was like, immediately thought of Mike, and I was like, I gotta tell you this.
Dude, I love this movie. I saw The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser. I was in 8th grade, I believe, on opening night in Randolph, at the Showcase Cinemas in Randolph, with like 4 of my
Deluxe.
buddies. And I'll never forget. So, like, the movie opens, right? You get Anaxunamun naked in a PG-13 movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 12.
Oh yeah.
Then all the priests get mummified alive and eaten by scarabs. So there's a naked woman and disgusting graphic deaths in a PG-13 movie in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I remember the bugs getting like under
bugs!
the skin.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
really
The
gross.
scarabs.
Then you
Yeah,
get
gross.
Brendan Fraser wandering on screen. Great hair. Badass of all badass characters.
as hell.
Rick O'Connell,
Yeah.
the man. Fighting in the fucking French Foreign Legion. He's like an American guy. Like, what are you doing there? He's
Yeah.
like, Indiana Jones, but with The Mummy. It's fucking awesome. I
you got
love
Benny
this
running
movie.
after
Like,
him.
how am I the
Now
only
I
one
know
that
where
feels
your
this
now
way?
I know where your hair came from.
It's a Brendan Fraser move.
First of all, my hair's not
That
that
movie
long.
is amazing.
It's so great. So great.
I can't fault you. That movie is spectacular.
I love John Hannah in that movie. That's the guy's name that plays the brother, right? Evie's brother, and then Rachel Weisz is in
And
it.
who's the guy that plays the fucking mummy? He's a huge
His
actor,
name
too.
is.
You should know it, right?
I should
It's
know
big.
it. I should
He's
know
big.
it.
It's not Timothy Olyphant.
He's in a lot of shit, and I don't know his name off the top of my head, and it's not because that.
You're not a big enough fan.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's in it, so I'll look it up. But any thoughts on this movie, you guys, while I look up this
Classic
stuff?
movie. I love this movie, Mike.
It's a fun watch. Yeah.
Like you said, I saw it when I was 12, and I forgot. I never got like full staff like you did at the opening scene, but I can see why you did.
I mean, isn't it one of those movies? It reminds me of like Twister, or like The Shawshank Redemption, where like if it's on TV, I won't turn it off. I'll put it on.
like
I won't
cancel
turn it
plans.
off.
You know what this
Yeah.
just made me think of too was another omit from the 90s that I forgot was Mars Attacks. Completely underrated movie.
Mars
I know it was-
Attacks is a great movie.
Yeah, Mars Attacks is hilarious. Jack
That's
Black,
not
dude.
a horror movie.
It's
Though.
like one of Jack Black's like early
Oh yeah.
things.
You know who else I just noticed in a Seinfeld episode?
Who?
The one where Kramer has like the smoking lounge upstairs. When he first goes outside to smoke a cigarette or a cigar, it's Kyle Gass.
Yeah.
was
I
like,
noticed that
like,
too.
That's Kyle
Yeah.
Gass. I just realized that.
So
Irrelevant, but
the guy who
okay.
plays Imhotep, his name is Arnold Vosloo, or I don't know
that
how you
wasn't
pronounce
what I was
it.
thinking of.
Also, Oded Fair plays Ardeth Bey, who's like the leader of the the army of people that fight against Imhotep.
Yeah.
Like he's really good too, and he's been in a lot of shit.
When they go, and then Brendan Fraser goes,
yeah.
and just runs away.
Dude, I mean, Brendan Fraser mows people down in this movie. When he's on like
tummy?
he's on the steamboat on the Nile, he's just mowing people down.
Yeah.
He's like running around, like doing mummy shit. I love this movie
Doing
so
mummy shit.
fucking much.
That movie is pretty awesome.
It's a great movie. It's so good. So
Did you like the one with the...
all of the
Cruise?
sequels stink. They're all bad.
Yeah,
The
Scorpion King
Cruise
sucks.
one is terrible.
I
Is
hated
it?
the
I
Scorpion
never saw that
King.
one.
I
Scorpion
remember like
King was
being a
bad.
child and being like, "Fuck this movie."
The one with Jet Li
Rock.
smells. That one's real bad. I guess like the second one's like probably the best sequel, but it's
Scorpion
none,
King?
none of them are as good as the first one. He caught
Scorpion
lightning in
King?
a bottle. But then Steven Summers, so he did Deep Rising. Listen to this. These three movies in a row. So he did Deep Rising, then he did The Mummy, and then he did Van Helsing with
Wow.
Huge Ass Man, which not the greatest movie.
No, that
But
movie's not well.
yeah, you know, it's okay.
Did he do Wormwood?
Not do Wormwood. He did not do a worm movie.
I feel like Wormwood would be...
Didn't do another worm movie, I should say. So yeah, that's what I have to say about The Mummy.
Awesome choice.
Death is only the beginning. That's what I'll say.
Mike's two favorite movies, The Mummy and Jaws.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Audette,
I'm gonna rifle off just a few.
let's hear some honorable mentions.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna say the movie that I am gonna pick. It's not necessarily my all-time favorite '90s movie, but I just know that a lot of people haven't seen it, and I think they should watch it. So I'm gonna pick it so I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My honorable mentions for Short, 1990, Adrian Lynn's Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal movie. Crazy, like, weird movie. Paul W.S. Anderson, Event Horizon, 1997.
Can't believe that's the
I
first
see. I
time
thought you
that
were going to
movie's
pick
been
both
brought
of
up.
those movies.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not even going to...
Well, I kinda was waiting for you to pick it, so
No, but
I
I
was
was like, I didn't bring him up because I was like, I think he's going to bring this
So we
up.
just had a stalemate
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Basically.
I
I went
love
with In the Mouth of Madness.
That's a solid one, though,
Yeah, but I was
yeah.
like, I need a Sam Neill movie in there. So.
Sam Neill needed to get his flowers.
Yeah.
I love Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. Whole different ending to the movie, too, which is wild. William Peter Blatty, 1990, Exorcist 3. A lot of 1990 stuff. Misery came out in 1990.
Yep.
Jacob's Ladder was 1990. Arachnophobia. Ronnie Yu, 1998, Bride of Chucky. That movie kicks
I
ass.
like Bride of Chucky. Yeah.
And then I will say Michael Haneke, 1997, the German Funny Games. Funny Games
Andrew
is
Lloyd.
very another
That's
really
when
rough.
that movie came out, was
Yeah.
97? That movie's so fucked.
It is. That's another really
So
like
brutal.
it's
That's
right
like
in
a
there with
brutal
Audition.
Audition. That's like the Strangers kind of thing, like a little bit more so though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a home
It's-
invasion film.
Did you ever see the remake?
Yeah. No. It's like
Strangers?
it's like exact replica of the same movie.
It's like why
it's
make
just
it,
American.
Like it's like the Psycho.
Just
movie.
read the subtitles.
Like why make a remake of the same movie?
I like
Yeah.
the remake of The Strangers.
And then
Strangers wasn't a remake.
one last honorable
Oh.
mention: Rodman Flender.
I've never.
19,
is that?
This is the director. 1999.
Oh, okay.
Idle Hands.
Idle
okay.
Hands is so good with Seth.
Seth Green's in it. Devin
Jessica
Sawa.
Alba.
Yeah,
No.
Jessica Alba.
Yep.
So.
Idle Hands spend time at the genitals.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
But
that's an awesome
so
movie.
I'm gonna go. My actual pick is gonna be Alex de la Iglesia, 1995, Day of the Beast. So this is a
Another movie I haven't
Spanish
seen.
and Italian movie, but like Berlin or not Berlin, fucking Barcelona, Spanish.
Okay.
So Berlin.
Germans.
So Day of the Beast. So basically, this is a movie. It's a super fun movie. Wicked dope opening credit song. Like really like captures like a cool metal vibe without being too much.
Nice.
Day of the Beast is basically it's about this priest who mathematically through the Bible and numbers and like kind of theory figures out when the world's going to end and like he needs to defeat the devil. And the only way he thinks that he's going to be able to do that is with the help of a metalhead record store owner and a television magician.
Wow.
So he like recruits
Sounds
them in to
awesome.
try and like get so they can try and find and kill the son of the devil when it's born at midnight. I think it's on like New Year's Eve.
Wait, is this
Yeah.
subtitled?
What
It
a
is. There's
premise.
subtitles.
What a-
Yeah.
what a
It's in
premise for a
Spanish.
movie.
It's mostly in Spanish and some Italian. So
That
it's
sounds
Day
like
of the Beast.
Jesus.
That sounds like the greatest movie.
Dude,
ever.
it is wicked good. It's wicked funny.
It's like a comedy horror.
It is,
Yeah, I
and
like
dude, it is so good and like criminally underrated. And I know that like not a lot of people have seen this. I heard about this through other podcasts. It's on Shudder. It's on Tubi, so that you have access to it.
As long as you deal with
Please
subtitles.
go watch. Yeah, if you can
Day
read
of the Beast.
as long as you can read, you'll be fine. Day
I
of the
can
Beast.
Sometimes read.
I highly recommend it. I really hope you guys all go watch it
like
because
it.
it's a
See,
lot of
I
fun.
want to see it. That sounds awesome.
And then the opening title song is like so rad, dude. It's just an instrumental like banger. And I was like, wow, this
Sounds
is sick.
awesome.
What am I watching? Awesome.
You know what was actually pretty awesome now that I remember it is so last night when we were rewatching I Know What You Did Last Summer. Over the opening credits is Typo Negative covering Summer Breeze.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I completely forgot that this song existed. It's like, wow, that's actually pretty good soundtrack on that stinky movie.
I meant to say the soundtrack on that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
On I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I have one more honorable mention that you just reminded me of that I didn't take note of.
Yeah.
I have to look real quick to see what year it is, but I know that it has a pretty like bitchin' 90s soundtrack. And it's 1992. Mary Lambert's direct sequel, Pet Sematary 2.
Ooh.
I had a feeling that you
That's
might
so
actually
cute.
talk about that because I know how much you love the first movie.
I do, and because I talked about the first one on the 80s one,
Yep.
and but yeah, Pet Sematary 2 is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's a fucking horrible, stupid, awful movie, but it's like really enjoyable to watch. I like loved it growing up, so it's like what you were saying. It has
Yeah.
like this nostalgia thing. It was always on like AMC Fear Fest when I get home from school, and it's gruesome. It's really fucked up, but I feel like they have like a Typo Negative song in that too.
Probably.
I got two honorable mentions too. Now that you mentioned that, Thinner. I love Thinner.
Thinner
The
rocks.
movie's
Thinner's actually really good.
awesome.
Yeah.
And Storm of the Century. Like
Stephen King.
That
Oh,
kind of
that's in the
Stephen
90s?
King just ripping it
That's
up right
as
at the last
does
second.
the It miniseries,
yeah, I
which
was
I can't
gonna say
believe you
that's-
didn't take.
That's
The
one
Stand,
of my other honorable.
that's another
honorable
90s
mentions,
one.
Yeah.
But Thinner, when he's just eating the pie and then he gives it to his daughter.
Yeah, he's just like a disgusting fat
I love
bastard.
that movie
Yeah.
so much. It's so bad, but so good. Dude, it's got Chaz Palmieri in that movie.
I love Chaz Palmieri. Yeah.
Chaz.
Chaz Palminteri.
Palminteri,
Chaz Palminteri.
yes,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, Chaz
I
Palminteri.
failed.
Okay, so I think that does it for the '90s, guys. Good stuff.
Put a
Good
wrap
talk,
on
and we're
it.
right at an hour here. So why don't we, Matt? We'll start with you. Why don't we go back around and we'll just go through the 4 movies that we
Yep.
picked. Go for it, my friend. Go.
Cat has no
go
idea
for
what she
it.
did.
Go for it.
I don't know.
All right, so I went with 1992, Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. 1999, Takeshi Mike's Audition. 1990, Frank Marshall's Arachnophobia. And then 1995, Alex de la Iglesia, Day of the Beast.
I didn't know Frank Marshall directed Arachnophobia. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that movie's awesome.
What were you saying? Sorry, you were
saying what a selection of movies.
Nice selection of movies.
Yes.
Nice picks, Mr. Audette. Nice picks. Another week in a row with great picks. So I picked from 1990 Tremors, from
Worms!
1998 Deep Rising.
More worms.
I got Worms.
Also from 1998 The Faculty, and from 1999 The Mummy. Andrew,
I love that you picked The Mummy.
What about you?
I knew you were going to pick The Mummy too. I was like, I know it.
I mean, I have an A+ squad. Those are fucking.
You got the worms, and you got Brendan Fraser to fight the worms.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
There we go. Beautiful. Brendan Fraser fighting all those worms? Hell yeah.
I don't know if I have the team to fight the worms, but I got The Devil's Advocate, 1997. Nightbreed, 1990. In the Mouth of Madness, 94. And then The Dark Half, 93, I think that was. I like that.
You already threw away your notes.
Sounds about right.
Solid team right there. No worms, but there's plenty of madness. It's all madness.
I mean, without worms, is there even a team? So, I don't know. Catherine, what about you on your welcome back episode? What do you
My
have?
dream team is Lake Placid, 1999, followed by 97's I Know What You Did Last Summer. Then the Haunting remake of... No, not the remake of the remake, just the remake of... The first remake of the Haunting.
This is the
There you
Reebok all the night.
In
That was a
1999.
99 movie, too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
It
okay.
was also in 99. And Ghost, which was in 1990. / The Craft.
Wow.
Yeah, with some love for the craft.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
96. Yeah.
The Craft and
Stop ghosting.
Ghost. Well, good picks, guys. I mean, that was, again, another fun discussion here. So I guess people are just going to have to tune in to next week to see what we do for the 2000s. Because who knows? There's more good discussion to be had. So, yeah, that's going to do it for another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. Thanks for tuning into this episode. I mean, you know where to find us online at this point. You know where to find our show. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We have a website that's ahpod.com. It's ahhpod.com, as in America's Hometown Horror Podcast.com. Yeah, we're going to keep recording. You guys are just going to have to wait a week to hear it. So, again, my name's Mike. I've been joined by Andrew, Kat,
You can
and
also,
Matt.
if you want to talk about this, just do hashtag I got worms.
Yes, there's that too.
I got worms.
Hashtag I got worms on it.
Or
You know,
hashtag
if you're
Walshy's
listening at that
worms.
point, tweet at us and use the hashtag I got worms on it.
I really hope that I see this all over my
I know, right? Oh my god, I hope so. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. Well, guys, it's been real, and we'll talk again in a couple minutes. But we'll talk to all these people next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.